my biggest advice on that. And of course, you're going to make a lot of money because if you are proven successful in a hard industry, yes, you'll make a lot of money.
All right, everyone. Welcome to this video where we're going to be interviewing a very inspirational guest. We're joined here with Luca Lamai, who's going to take us through his story of being in a very fortunate and unique position, but something that a lot of you are striving towards, where he was able to actually sell his company. He's going to walk us through exactly how he was able to build that, how he was able to get the sale, and what life is like right now. I'm joined here with my co-founder with the Automation Institute, Matt Anthony. He'll introduce himself in just a second, but if you don't know who I am, my name is Hamza Beg. I go by Hamza Automates on social platforms. I'm the founder of Hexona Systems and the Automation Institute. We help entrepreneurs around the world get started with AI and automation, build products for themselves, and really just gain financial freedom with all the opportunities that we have around us. So Matt, you want to just introduce yourself and then we'll jump into Luca's story.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Matt Anthony. I'm the co-founder of the Automation Institute and the founder and CEO of Invitco Incorporated. And I'm just so excited to be here, man. Honestly, I remember the first time that we talked here at the Niagara Falls Innovation Hub, we said we wanted to do a podcast. So we're really excited to learn about your story, your journey, man, and take some good notes along the way.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you, Matt. It's a real pleasure to be here today and to mainly talk to the viewers and everyone that is listening to speak about how hard but also rewarding it is to be a founder, entrepreneur, actually doing anything meaningful in your life, So if you are an artist, if you're an athlete, it's pretty much the same story, right? So very happy to be here today.
Awesome. Great, my man. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What made you want to get into entrepreneurship, and maybe tell us how the formulation of your first business or the business that you sold, how did that kind of like come to be?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I came from a background of pretty humble beginnings. Came to Canada 5 years ago. Not a lot of money. My parents sacrificed a lot for me to be here and to come and to for me to study in university. I studied biochemistry. Went to Montreal first, and my goal always was to be a doctor. I wanted to become a doctor. Every immigrant parent,
of course, yeah,
either lawyer, doctor, engineer. There is no in between.
100%.
So I wanted to follow my mom's journey. My mom was in medicine, was a doctor, right? So I wanted to become a doctor too. And I came here, and to be honest, the first culture shock that I found is when I met my friend Zach, my best friend. He taught me a lot about how people think here. And when I spoke to him, he had a channel which was not small but not huge at the time, called the Chess Nerd. Shout out to Zach, by the way. And he loved playing chess. He was a chess player since a kid, and he started content creating. Now you have to understand, from a guy from Albania coming here and finding the word content creation, it's like so weird and so like unusual, because in Albania, when you tell someone that you are an entrepreneur, most probably they're going to think you're a drug dealer. It doesn't exist. The word entrepreneur doesn't really exist. Things have changed, but at least at the time that I was there,
yeah,
right. So when I came here, Zach showed me and told me that, and I saw his journey to grow to a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and actually living by doing what he wants, really opened my eyes and told me, you know what, there's so much more to the world than just becoming a doctor. So, but the real moment that I started working and I started creating businesses and humbly innovating, it was the time that my mom, as a family doctor, burned out and retired, and really understood. And when I got in touch, especially with the medical system here in Canada, I really understood how slow it is, how really slow it is. And it was a problem that really caught my attention. It really was personal for me, So that's why I tell people, I'm sorry I'm going a little bit long, but I want to go to the point that's why I tell usually the young founders, the young entrepreneurs. There are two philosophers that I love called René Descartes and John Locke. And they say the best ideas don't come from the mind, but they come from the soul. So my idea came from the soul, and my other ideas, everything that I do, it's something that I love to do, and that's why I love doing what I do, even though sometimes it's very hard.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of the viewers are in a similar position where a lot of them want to be entrepreneurs, right? but coming up with that idea is like the hardest part.
Absolutely.
So like, how do you have advice? Like, how do you listen to your soul? How do you come to that conclusion?
Very, very good question. Thank you, Hamza. Like, everybody this day and age wants to become an entrepreneur. And, they call them entrepreneur. A lot of them want to be, right? I want to mention another great thinker, great intellectual called Charles Bukowski. He was a writer. And he says, don't do anything in this world. But if you do it, go all the way. So the point is that if you do anything with a little bit of struggle, and I have a very good mentor that taught me this. He told me that, and he always saw, not he only told me, but actually he showed it to me. Every time that I spoke about an idea, about a business, about anything that I wanted to do, and I felt a little bit that I was struggling to figure it out, and it was very hard for me to love it. He was like, "Look, I dropped that idea," and I was like, "Why? It's a great. You can make a lot of money." He was like, "What do you mean you're gonna make a lot of money? You don't love doing this. Even if you make money, even if you become successful, you don't love the process of building it. And most probably going to fail if you do that because it's very hard, right?" So the first thing, where do ideas come from again? Yes, they come from the soul. And in order to get in touch with your inner soul and your inner spirit, you need to learn a lot about yourself. You need to, in my opinion, that's my road to success. You need to read a lot of books. You need to take a lot of experiences. And if you don't have, because we cannot do everything in life, learn from other people's experiences. And when you learn what you like, what you don't like, what your hobbies are, what your passions are, what you love to do, it's a little bit easier to find out what idea can you build, right? I'm in a relative young age, 24 years old. I was very lucky to understand what I liked very early. But even I have doubts of myself, as I said. Even I go through those rabbit holes of making money the easier way or making a lot of money, right? It's just human being. It's human level, right? So and in order to figure that out, always the compass is: are you stressed all the time doing this? Are you actually in love with doing what you do, right? This is the compass that I use. And I think that's the best way to figure out ideas. And after that, of course, for all the viewers that are listening right now and are watching us, just do it and figure it out within the way. But do it, start it. Because by talking about it, and that's something that I really hate, when people talk about doing things, and they talk about it all the time, and then they say, you know what, you know those stories when Facebook, for example, firstly launched and became big. Everybody was saying, "Oh yeah, I had this idea. I could have done this. I could have been a billionaire." But do it. Like don't just talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Do it. Try it. And that's the best way to win experience, and that's the best way to go to the actual business that you want to build.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a concept in neuroscience where it's like if you just talk about the idea, it releases the same dopamine in your brain as actually doing the idea. So people just like talking about it, they get excited, they feel good, and then they take no action.
Absolutely.
But action's the only thing that matters. It's binary, right? Like
Absolutely.
we're here because we decided to take those steps to get it done. A lot of people watching get stuck in analysis paralysis. Oh, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? And end up doing nothing.
Absolutely.
But the market is what dictates it. If you put in the work and you get the results from the market, okay, this was a bad idea.
Absolutely.
Let me pivot. That's how you end up doing what you want to do.
You give up only the moment that you actually leave doing that. So you actually gave up, right? So you're never going to give up if you actually continue doing and trying until you hit, right? The concept that I love the most, it actually worked a lot for me, was the concept of knowing yourself, which was exactly what we're talking about. And this is from the ancient Greek philosophers, from Plato, that has said this. And in order to know yourself, you need to take risks. Unfortunately, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be very uncomfortable a lot of times. But anytime that you get out of your comfort zone, you are knowing yourself more, because you're like, okay, now I know my limits. I know where I can go. For me, it was this change from AI, which we're going to talk most probably after, from AI, and I was doing very good with that, to shift to blockchain and crypto. I had no idea about, actually, I was totally against crypto in the beginning. I thought it was scam. I thought there were a lot of scammers. But it changed my idea because I opened my mind. And again, it's not just my merit, it's also my people around me, which is another advice that I'll give to everyone. Have good people around you and have great mentors around you, people that already have done it, or people that actually care about you, because that's also very important. having in a circle people that care about you and tell you the truth, it's always going to benefit you in the long term.
Absolutely. One of the things I find so interesting over the course of this conversation, Luca, is you're talking so much about doing the inner work and reflecting on yourself, not like what cold DM script are you doing or what outreach strategy. I feel like this is so important to have, because I feel like this is where a lot of big entrepreneurs really miss the mark on building something that has purpose. And like you said, you make decisions with your soul. So with that being said, talk to us about the launch of that first company that you did and how the journey kind of went and where it led you to now today.
Yes, absolutely. I've studied the greatest, and I've studied all the big leaders, starting from Alexander the Great to Napoleon to Julius Caesar to the modern ones, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, uh, and and also people that I've actually met, like uh, great founders of huge companies, including Wealthsimple, Twitch, all of those guys. And one thing that I saw in common of that was they were the best leaders that I've seen in my life, that I've met or I've read in my all 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 the human experiences that I had. They take accountability. They don't blame other people. They blame themselves for every problem that it happens. But also they don't shame themselves. They take accountability. They say we're wrong, and they move on, and they may become better and become better and become better. Extremely humble within themselves, which shows a level of absolute enlightenment into them. And again, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it books. You can call it a lot of life experience, a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Of course, because it's a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
A lot of different decisions that they made, as Hamza said, different decisions that they made that led them to where they are. But in the end of the day, it's enlightenment that they have. With my company, we started very small, and we changed our idea at least 6 times, to be honest with you. We started with VR, virtual reality, for healthcare. We went to, I don't know, we went to like just electronic health records. And then we went to AI tools. And then we went a little bit more deep into AI. And then we went AI to help AMRs. And then we went just specifically family physicians. Just to say that whatever I said right now about ideas, that's all bullshit. Sorry for my language. Ideas are overrated. You focus on the problem and find a solution. Ideas change. Solutions change. Life changes. Technology, economy changes, right? People, I think, or people's perception of different things changes, but the problem stays. What's the problem? Like, focus on the problem a lot. So we focus a lot on the problem. We had some good, again, the journey was very hard, Matt, to be honest with you. Like, as I said, I don't come from a rich family. We were very humble, and I had to survive, literally survive for a long time, not just a small time, for a long time. I was going to university. I was doing the company. I was doing a million other things. I was hosting events. I was doing that and that and that. And at some point, I completely burned out twice or 3 times myself. Which, look at the paradox. I was building a company to avoid burnouts, and I burned out myself.
Right. Yeah.
So it became a stress. It became a struggle. It became a problem. And that's why I kind of gave up, even though it became successful in the end. But I gave up on the company because it was not anything that I loved anymore doing. Because if you love something so much, you're never going to let it go. Even if you fail, you're never going to let it go, right? We have those random, very cliche stories of Facebook, for example, that didn't get the $1 billion from Yahoo, right? Or Red Bull. I was reading about Red Bull. Super unbelievable story about the founder of Red Bull, by the way. He rejected $20 billion to sell Red Bull. Not right now when they're huge, in the early stage, like 5 to 10 years in the business.
Wow.
And he refused that. Why? Because that's the only thing that he knew how to do. He was obsessed with Red Bull, with energy drinks. He was obsessed with the brand. And the brand was him, It came a time that the brand that I was building was not me anymore. It was not me, or it was not even my co-founder anymore. So then we decided, you know what, Luca? He told me, you know what, let's give this away. Let's give it to someone that actually can bring it to the next level. And let's do what we do most better, which is building companies, right? And building things that we like to do. And that led me, so because the question was, where did it lead you? Yes, it led me to a small success, but it's giving me an opportunity to have a bigger success with my new company, 3TV. So if I never made that move, would never understand what I actually love or what I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm explaining to this to just understand how hard the process is.
Yeah.
It's always continuous learning, always continuous changes, and it will always be like that. If you are ready for that, get into entrepreneurship. If you're not ready for that, corporate is also fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a good way, you guys know because you are in the industry. If you want a good way to make money, work for Google, work for Facebook. It's a more linear way of thinking. It's a more linear way of process, and you're gonna make very good money, right? So you don't have to take all these risks.
Yeah.
But if you actually love doing it, if you actually are obsessed with doing meaningful things in life, entrepreneurship is the place for you. And founding a tech, whatever type of company, it's the best thing for you.
Wow. Very inspiring words that you said there. In terms of when you first introduced this idea, maybe when you were talking with your co-founder, maybe we should sell this to private equity. Maybe we should just do this. Do you feel that when you sold the company, did you lose that love that you had with it? Or were you just like, you know what? I love this so much. I need to let it go and I need to see it do its own thing so I can focus on other things.
Maybe it's the system. And maybe it's the way that I was doing it. I don't know. I always like to take accountability of things. But the best thing that I've learned from it was that I was not in love anymore, and it was not my life anymore. As I said, the brand was not Luca anymore. It was not my co-founder anymore. It became quasi-corporate. It became kind of like chase those clinics and chase these people, and hopefully they work with us, and hopefully we can make a little bit of change. And a lot of companies were coming up after that. We're one of the first AIs in healthcare, in family physicians in Canada, but a lot of companies came out of that, and everybody was fighting for this small piece. It's the Pareto principle. 20% of 80% of people fight for 20% of the wealth. Like it's the same way in here. 80% of the companies were fighting for 20% of the market share that was there, right? So it's so much. It became so annoying, and we're not innovating anymore. And that for me, it was, you know what? It's done here. It's better to have this go, let it go right now, and focus on something else, which came so naturally. I did something that is called, uh, uh, intellectual procrastination. That's how I called it. I gave the word to that. I gave the name. So I have to patent it. So what I did was 1 month, I didn't do anything. I just stay home, close myself up completely. Didn't meet anyone. I just read books, watched movies, watched documentaries, and I had like a process of meditation. Like I was meditating a lot. I was praying a lot because I'm also religious. I believe in God, and I was praying a lot. And I was getting to understand. Going back to the point, understanding myself, because it's very hard. It's very hard when I was in a roadblock. I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? What's my life now? Right? I worked with Microsoft. I worked with NATO. Built my company, built a couple of different businesses, studied biochemistry, did research, right? So I had, in a very short time, I did everything that I wanted to do, that I wanted to try, right? I tried everything pretty much that I love. Now, what's next step? What can be something that I actually would want to focus on doing next, right? So that came very naturally. And, sometimes the universe, God, whatever, call it whatever you want, brought me the person that my mentor, I'm not going to say his name, but he knows, we call him Jason Statham because he looks like Jason Statham.
Nice.
And he told me, like, listen, Luca, try this crypto and blockchain. Maybe you're going to like it. Or try, focus a little bit also on AI because it's your strength, AI, right? You have already built, and figure out something there. And after that, everything else was just very simple and much more easier, right? But I had to go through this phase, though. Again, I had to go through the phase, and everybody will think right now, oh, like a lot of people told me, Matt, like, Luca, what did you sell? Luca, you could have built this an empire, you could have sold it way more money, and you could have become so rich. And I was like, yeah, but what's the point? I did what I had to do. I fulfilled my mission, right? We saved some doctors, we saved some clinics, we had what you got to do. We got into the size of the system. Yes, I want to talk about the system too a little bit. The system of healthcare in Canada, it's unbelievably demotivating system. And I'll tell you right now why. It's very traditional. It has a lot of red tapes, and also it has a lot of problems when it comes to innovating. Innovation, they hate the word innovation. So if there is an actual industry to be disrupted, if I would give an advice to all my Canadian
Mhm.
listeners, please focus on the healthcare system because it needs a lot of disruption. It needs a lot of disruption when it comes to longevity, when it comes to health span. You guys are in AI. I was a little bit in the AI space, not too much technically, but business wise. We're building a lot of the AI platform. We're building a lot of cool AI that is changing the world. We most probably are going to come to a time, and that's my prediction, that we're not going to need any more coders. We're not going to need a lot of things, right? But still, the healthcare system is the same. Still, we have a lot of diseases. The biotechnology space is still very slow to produce any kind of innovation, any kind of meaningful change, right? So, what's going to be the end of this? That's my question, right? So that's why I think we need more innovation in the healthcare, and not so much on the AI in the workflow space, but more on pharmaceuticals, on drug discovery, and specifically on health span rather than longevity. Health span, living healthy. That would be like one of the things that I would love to see more out there, right? But as I said, the industry, there were a lot of signs, a lot of stars that were aligned for me to say, you know what, Luca, give this up right now and focus on something else bigger. Then they continue here and most probably going to fail, and most probably going to be, even if you succeed, you're going to be so out of love for everything that you need like so much time off to figure out everything else, right? So yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the entrepreneurs in my community, a lot of my students, they are interested in healthcare, but a big roadblock for them is that it's a very regulated industry. There's a lot of compliance, HIPAA you got to go through. So a lot of them see that as a barrier to entry. Like, oh, I don't want to go through all of that trouble, which might lead to the issue of it being, not there's no
Absolutely.
innovation.
You're right.
So how did you tackle that, and what would you say to them? Like, is it worth it if they put in the effort to be compliant and go through all these loopholes? Is the upside that big, or like a lot of them are deterred by that? So how would we get over that?
You know how hard it is, Hamza? So I'm not gonna lie to people, like, of course. You know how hard it is? Compliance is just the minimum. Like, you already have to go through that. Like, you have to. You have no choice, you know? So that's the minimum. The hardest part is convincing the market to change. Like, think about it. Doctors have
It's a
been doing
mentality.
their job like that for a long time. And even if they want to change, there are other people behind them that doesn't let them to change, including the ministry, the other organizations, the institutions, the technology itself. The technology itself is built in that way that make it so slow for the doctors to change. For a doctor to change from an electronic health record system to another electronic health record system doesn't just need a lot of money, 10,000 and up. It needs 6 months to migrate all the data. 6 months. Why would they change? Why would they use AI to go through all of this? And just in the end, they're going to have 5% a better lifestyle or 10% more money making. They're not going to do that, right? They're not going to do that simply. And this stops a lot of people and a lot of innovation happening from the healthcare space, from the system space. Now, when we're talking about biotechnology, which is, I love it because I've been, as I said, in the research space, the biggest problem and the biggest roadblock that you're going to go through is not just the FDA approvals or Health Canada approvals, but it will be having the capital. Investors, and this is a very interesting chicken and egg problem. Investors want to see traction, but in order to have traction, you need investment. So what do you do in this case, right? So this is the biggest roadblock of a lot of biotech innovation close from happening. Now, why did I say that we need more disruption there? It's the most meaningful thing you can do in your life. You actually help people. You actually help, maybe in my opinion, the most important pillar of a society, which is health. Without health, we have nothing. So if you actually make a meaningful change, if you make a change to that, it'll be the most meaningful thing you can do in your life. So again, if you're obsessed with that, absolutely. And you'll find ways to go through the roadblocks. But if you're not, don't go through it because it's very hard. It's going to be very hard, right? So that will be my biggest advice on that. And of course, you're going to make a lot of money because if you are proven successful in a hard industry, yes, you'll make a lot of money.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's proven. But don't do it for that because, as I said, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
It's going to be very short your span for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, how important do you think it is for entrepreneurs or just any business owner right now to get educated in the AI and
Oh,
automation space right now? But in terms of priority list, what would you say?
first, I'm not going to use my words. I'm going to use the Shopify CEO's words, which made by like internal law of the company, every employee should learn AI, should learn how to use AI. AI, Web3, the future of even blockchain crypto is the future of our internet. We want it, we don't want it, it will go there. I've been working closely with NATO. Let me give you an example, right? We were working closely with NATO on policy for security, right? For defense technology specifically. We hosted a great event last year about defense tech, and I saw a lot of startups and a lot of big corporations, the innovation that is happening in defense technology. And let me tell you, Hamza and Matt, it's unbelievable. Things that you cannot even imagine, some kind of matrix, I know, like weird utopian world that is
Something out of this world.
absolutely that we're
Yeah.
creating. Like we're creating aliens,
Yeah.
literally aliens. And
Yeah.
in the forefront of this, it has been, and it will be United States.
Mhm.
It will be Canada. It's doing a good job though. So I saw it. I spoke with a lot of people. I spoke with one of the Nobel Prize winners of this year when it comes to chemistry, and and we talked and we said like one of the things that he said even in the Nobel Prize, like while they had the roundtable in Stockholm, the every industry, it's if you want to see the actual how fast AI moves, don't look at any other industry except defense technology, because there are no guardrails. You know why?
Mhm.
Because if US puts guardrails, China doesn't put guardrails. So you see now the realpolitik that is playing.
Wow.
US stays here, China goes up quick, and who has the best the upper hand? China does. So you cannot put that easily guardrails into AI in defense technology.
Mhm.
And what I'm seeing, it's unbelievable. Now I'm thinking of myself logically speaking. Aristotle used to say we can predict the future if you use logic. We can predict the future now and say that also these other industries are going to go to that point.
Mhm.
Are going to go to the point that everything is going to be autonomous. We're not going to need anymore a lot of the hard work, especially in tech, specifically in tech, right? Paradoxically speaking, AI will disrupt tech in general first, right?
Mhm.
Where it came from. So I think we're changing so quick, we're moving so quick, and the future is bright. If we use it the right way, of course. But again, are there a lot of phony things? Are there a lot of scam that is happening? Is there a lot of useless company that are creating an AI? Now, speaking, we spoke from tech point of view. Now, speaking about business point of view, there's a lot. Just because you have AI in your name doesn't mean that you're creating a platform. So that's why I said focus on the
Mhm.
problem, not the tools or the solution. Like, just go to Silicon Valley and SF. AI for this, AI for sales, AI for marketing, AI for this, AI for this, AI for that, AI for B2B AI SaaS. Like, it's same words,
Yeah, exactly.
same words. In healthcare right now, there's a good trend of scribe companies, AI scribe.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's easy. You know how many companies I met? At least 45 in Toronto, not in the
Yeah.
world, in Toronto,
Yeah.
that is doing this. And I'm like, okay, I get it. There are 4, 5, 6 companies that have been doing it for like 5 years, and they're going to keep doing it because they have a good market share, they have good distribution. What about these other companies? What are they going to do? They're all going to fail,
Mhm.
right? Because you cannot do something just because you think it's going to do right, and you think, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money with this because other people are doing that, right? Focus on real problems, focus on real disruption, which, to be fair, also is going to be very hard because everything is being disrupted, and how much we can disrupt, how much we can
Mhm.
innovate, right?
Yeah.
That's a real philosophical question now that we can arise, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. First thing to do right now, if you haven't checked yet, check AI agents, AI in general, and I'm biased, but check also blockchain because it's super super cool what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe tell us a little bit more about your company that you're doing now within the
Yes.
crypto and blockchain
Ah.
space. Let's get fired up
I love
because
it.
I know a lot of people who are in the community and who are fascinated with AI. This is a big hot topic of conversation. So please share what you got going on.
There's been a cool trend right now of intersecting AI and crypto and blockchain. Very cool. A lot of cool companies are coming out of it. A lot of my friends that have been building, they raised a lot of money and they're doing amazing work, right? So let me go back to the point that I didn't know what to do. I had that intellectual procrastination time, and I was here and I was figuring out the new way. What should I do, right? So I started learning more about blockchain. I started learning more about crypto. I started coding a little bit and understanding how I can build a token, a coin, a blockchain system completely, right? I understand how hard it is, but the main thing I love and I absolutely obsessed with the philosophy of decentralization. Decentralization, giving the power to the people, I never thought it would be happening because even if you go in history, if we talk politically, if we talk historically, the birth of democracy, Athens, came, democracy as a system, as a political system, as an economic, it's not economical system, but as a societal system, came from Cleisthenes. There was this guy called Cleisthenes. In ancient Greece, in ancient Athens, before him, there was tyranny. There were tyrants, there were dictators, right? So he himself was a tyrant family. And he said, you know what? I want some power. How can I bring these people down? How can I build this tyrant down? Let me create a new system called democracy and throw them out, throw them down, and create the democracy, the system that we have today. So they actually created a revolution that throughout the tyrants and the democracy came. So Cleisthenes became the leader. So my point is, in any point in history, every revolution has had a leader. So nothing comes from the masses. That's my point. Nothing comes from the masses. With decentralization, with Web3, is the first time in my life that I think the revolution or the change, the disruption will come from the masses now. And the masses has a lot of power. So with this logic that I came up with, and I wrote it down a lot. I write down a lot of things, by the way. That's one of my obsession also. I love it. I love writing things down. And I went back a couple of months ago, actually, and I was like, oh, interesting. Let me think about some industries and what I love to do. Again, going back to what I love to do. Okay, during this year's what I like to do. In the beginning, I was editor-in-chief of a newspaper. This is when I was 18 years old. I loved it. I loved writing about politics in Albania. It was cool. Then I had a podcast, small podcast about history called Cool Historians. I built a community to around 50K. A lot of people from my age, at least 20 years old. Then I built companies, AI, cool. Worked mostly with doctors, worked some with researchers in science world, had some patents going in, cool. Then I worked with Microsoft community. So I built their community in Toronto. I was doing a lot of events, a lot of podcasts, including in this room here. We have the podcast with Valen. And after that, worked with NATO, hosted a lot of events with NATO. Again, kind of in that space. So the thing that was in common here was community. So I love building community. That's the realization we came with my mentors, my advisors, with my previous investors, my current investors. Community is what I love to do. Let's go back now again. What are some traditional things that need to be disrupted? And what did I start with? With media. Media needs to be heavily disrupted. Why? You have big mediums like CNN, Fox, and I'm talking about TV channels. Specifically TV channels.
Right.
BBC. Do you know their agenda? Can you read their agenda online? Can you read their contracts online? Can you read their sponsorship? Who are sponsoring them? At some point, maybe 20% of that you can do. They all have hidden agendas. They all have and you know what's the problem is that viewers and the masses are so smart that they know that, but they have no other chance. Where are you gonna go, right? So they consciously get manipulated by these people for political use, for economical use, for economic benefits, and sometimes for also just for the sake of it because they want to manipulate people. That's the PR, right? That's how the whole industry got created. Let's go to YouTube now and Spotify. YouTube tried to do this disruption to give the power to the people, right? And everybody became, we are posting this on YouTube, everybody became powerful, right? You have their own attention. But also YouTube is centralized. Also you have agendas, and the agenda there is algorithm. So you have to follow the algorithm, because if you don't follow the algorithm, maybe even if you post the most quality content on earth, you're gonna never gonna be noticed. And that's the same for TikTok, for Instagram, whatever, all of those social media platforms. Now, what we're proposing is a TV channel called 3TV. Number 3, talking about obsessions, my favorite number.
Cool.
And I bought some brands, I bought some domains, which brings me to the point that I really wanted to use it at some point, so I use it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course, number 3 here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 3TV, it's a TV channel, IPTV, 24/7, with amazing content creators built on the blockchain. So me as a human being, talking not as Luca, but as a human being, I don't trust myself. Maybe I'll become like them if I have 1 million followers on Instagram. I'll dictate what I want to dictate to them, right? And this was I don't know if you know a YouTuber called Coffeezilla.
Coffeezilla, oh yeah.
I love Coffeezilla.
Coffeezilla, yeah.
They catch all the scammers. And one of the episodes, rightly so, he was talking about these crypto influencers, crypto blockchain evangelists, which were getting paid a lot of money from scams like FTX, up to 50,000 a month, which is a lot of money, just to promote and to tell people to invest in the coins and invest in those stuff. And they knew very well that they were scams. They were pump and dump schemes. So who is responsible now? Is it just the founder responsible? Or also these players that just get the money and they're like, oh yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, you knew, because you didn't do your due diligence right? So by building on the blockchain, everything is transparent, even if I don't want to. Even if Luca doesn't want to. The content is there, the contracts are there, the sponsors are there, the contracts that we do with content creators are there. And one other problem that I've seen with content creators, for example, you post this on YouTube, how much money are you going to make from YouTube from this? Most probably zero. You're going to make it from sponsors, yes. Unless you have 1 million subscribers, which can make a little bit of good money. But I'm asking you now you guys, you are marketing geniuses, how hard it is to go to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It's maybe one of the hardest things in the world, right? Yeah. So the revenue sharing there, it's absolutely not fair. So we want to give fairness to the content creators too. For every viewership that they have a better rate that they were going to have in every other platform, including Spotify, which podcasts make zero money too. I had one podcast there, so I know very well. And also give the power of voting to people. Now we're talking about the utopian world and everything, but I don't know if you have watched Black Mirror.
Oh yeah,
Bandersnatch.
Oh yeah,
when you actually play the movie with you, like
it's wild.
You co-create the movie, right? In the same way, we want to co-create the TV completely. So what I'm saying is, through the DAO community that the blockchain Web3 space gives an opportunity to, the holders or the people that are actually engaged and have actually invested a little bit of money, but also a lot of time into the platform, they can vote which shows they like. And if they actually don't like a show, and the majority says they don't like the show is not going to be, doesn't matter how much money they're bringing us, doesn't matter what is the contract between us. If the viewers don't like you, brother, you're going to leave, or sister, you're going to leave.
Right, yeah.
Right? So that's going to be the mentality that we're building in. The viewers will vote, even inside the show, they will vote which parts of the show they like and which they don't like. And we're going to give the power of the whole TV to the viewers. They'll be the agenda, not Luca anymore, but the viewers will be the agenda. So we're bringing a lot of cool content creators, people from, and we want to bring the philosophy of decentralization till the end. Everyone globally, major, all the main countries at least, right, can produce content. If you are in Nigeria, if you are a journalist in Iran, if you are a coder in Canada, or if you are a founder in US that wants to get some fame, right, you can join us. And if you have a quality of content about technology, because I have to say 3TV, it's only about technology, you can join us and you can have your own show, right? And we had some cool feedback in the beginning. We have some cool founders that are doing, for example, building in public. They're actually showing the people and the viewers like how it is to actually build a startup technically. We have professors that are going to talk about economy of technology, like having a coffee with the students and talking about this. So we have some cool shows, including myself. I'll have my own show there. Cool shows that will show in the TV channel very quick. We'll start with YouTube, and we'll have our app and the website. But the YouTube is going to be the beginning, and then after a while, we're going to actually live stream everything only on 3TV app as an IPTV 24/7.
And it's hosted on the blockchain.
It's hosted on the blockchain.
Dude,
Amazing.
that is awesome, man.
Yeah.
What you're essentially like building like an entire antithesis of a mass network of people who are going to, it's going to probably start off with tech and everything, but then you maybe you might expand later on down the road with a lot of stuff. But it's I think for the transparency section and as well as the technology section with that, I feel like that's going to be something that people are going to want to see because they're going to see a raw and unfiltered type of presentation with that, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger for people. That's really cool, man. I got a lot of questions. I know. We can say everything here. We can't get into everything here, but man, congratulations on that. That's awesome. How long has that been in motion now for?
Not a lot. It's the early months of doing it. We're launching very soon, and we have right now the YouTube channel called 3TV Technology for anyone that wants to subscribe and to follow. Also, 3TV channel on Instagram. You can follow there too to keep in touch when we launch our shows. We'll launch the app soon, which is going to be super cool. It's going to have everything, the shows, voting mechanisms, everything that you need to do there. And the future is in our hands, I usually say to my people that I work with. So we're building the future right now, and the future of media, but more importantly, even the future of democracy. And why do I say that? It's because media, it's one of the major influences in people's lives. It is, because all the time, you guys know it better than anyone else how important social media is to attract the best group that you want to attract, right? So
absolutely,
it is one of the most part of the main influences in life that we're giving the power back to the people.
That's awesome.
One thing I'm thinking of is, so if you build a decentralized platform, do you have censorship or moderation controls over that? And if it does get abused, like what are your safeguards for that? Like, can anyone post anything? And
absolutely, that's a very good question. We have guidelines before that, which are legally attractable, right? One of the problems, for example, let me give you an example with Justin Khan, the Justin TV, Twitch.
Yeah,
Justin TV stopped working because it was working unbelievably good. They had a lot of content creators, but they stopped it because someone committed suicide in their channel and they couldn't stop it, and then they had to close it after, like, imagine like all the headaches and all the morally you are not able to continue anymore, right? So in order to account for that, we are posting not the actual content in itself like this, but the metadata of the content, so the description of the content on the blockchain. So what is happening, what happened, like people that know Web3, they know what I'm talking about when I say metadata. All the description of it, so it stays there. So if, for example, all the words that you've said, they'll always be there. So you cannot change your words, right? If a tech CEO comes in and says we are launching a crypto coin CEO comes in and says we're launching this and it's going to be super cool and it's going to be this and we're promising that we're going to freeze our coins for 2 years, but actually they go and they launch and they take their coins in 1 year. People are going to get him accountable because they're going to say, "Hey, buddy, this time you were here in blogging, and even if he asked me to delete it,
I'm going to do it. You can't do it.
Even if he gives me money to delete it, I still cannot delete it.
Yeah,
because it's the blockchain, right?
Yeah.
So this is one thing that we measure to do this. The guidelines are very scary. So now we are highing up because not everyone with power to have a microphone or anything can have a show. You need to apply for the show also, right? Okay. So you need to apply, and you need to be a quasi expert, not the best in the world, but you have to know what you're doing. So if your show that you're proposing is talking about startups, you need to be a startup guy or girl.
Yeah,
you cannot be like someone that is outside of the industry and talking about startups, right? So this is the guidelines that we're putting. So we have a committee of approving those and refusing whoever is going to be refused, and then again we launch it, If people don't like it, take it out.
Right.
Like it's not up to us in the end of the day, right? So we
Yeah.
launch it and we take it out. Like people take it out if they don't want to.
So the interesting part is now that there's a community, the committee introduced. Now, can the committee be influenced, like with outside?
That's what I'm saying. Even if they are influenced, the committee, the human level, the viewers are gonna say, you know what, guys, I don't like this. I don't like this this show. So they're gonna vote. And again, the votes cannot be influenced because they are also on the blockchain. Like you can never influence them. You need to be a token holder, they call it. So you need to be verified to the core. Who are you before you actually do that? And then the community actually decides. Even if I get influenced, the community decides in the end of the day.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
I think it's time for some rapid fire right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Lucas, so this is a part where we're going to do rapid fire.
Okay.
You're just going to say yes or no to the questions.
Got it.
And then if there's one that you want to expand on afterwards, we'll go on and we'll expand on it.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, my man. Let's go ahead and get this ready. So this is all
I'm
about, this is great. I love this. I love this one. Okay. So this is business edition, rapid style fire. Yes or no? Do cold calls still work?
No.
AI will replace half the jobs in the next 3 years.
Don't finish the conversation.
Everyone who's a business owner should be building a personal brand.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
You need to go broke before you can succeed.
Not necessarily. I'm going to expand after about that.
Okay. Is college worth it in 2025?
Oh, good question. I don't think so. But if you're doing law, medicine, and important things, absolutely yes.
Cool.
Not entrepreneur though.
Awesome. Business partners over solo founders.
Business partners.
Work-life balance is a myth.
No comment. I'm the worst person. I have no work balance. I never tried it.
You're super obsessed.
I've never tried it. So I'm sorry for that. Yeah.
Raising capital is overrated.
It is overrated in the times that we're coming. It's still necessary right now. It's going to be overrated in the next years.
Hustle culture is toxic.
No, I don't think so.
Can you buy success?
Zero. No chance.
Cool. Why do you think you can't buy success?
Because success starts here, and it doesn't start with how much money you have and how famous you are. You can start, and again, success is relative. How I think of success, I think of success as a very, very enlightened person, and that can come from, again, intelligence. That can come from kindness. That can come from taking risks. That can come from a lot of things. But when you meet an enlightened person and a successful person, you know where you are in their presence. That's success for me.
Awesome. Very cool. Do you think that you have to be so obsessed in order to have this certain level of success? Like, do you need to have this obsession and not have that season of work-life balance? Because that's what you said. Like, what do you think about that?
I have a good mentor of mine, Chad. He told me that this guy is unbelievable. Like we call him Batman. He never stops. He never stops.
He's always going.
20 hours a day he works. I don't know how he does it. He doesn't sleep. So when I asked him, I was in between a little bit of a dilemma when I was going through that phase. Should I get into politics? Because I love politics. It's one of my passions too. Should I get into politics or should I continue the startup world?
I think the startup world.
Yes, that's what I chose, right?
Yeah.
And when I asked this guy, he was like, do both. And I was like, brother, how can I do both? Like, don't sleep, he told me. Like just don't sleep. Like, of course. Don't sleep. Don't have a life, right? So that's cool. So I think a lot of the people, the successful people, a lot of the hustlers, that's why I don't believe a lot in the hustler culture is a toxic system, because it's not. A lot of the countries are built because of the hustler culture in a different way, the different version, but it was built. New York is built from hustler culture. People that came with nothing and they just needed to hustle and make money. There's a different story now. Everybody, and this is a little bit controversial, everybody has a chance to have a podcast. I'm absolutely against that, except people that have expertise, like you guys. Like I did a little bit with the tech, like humbly accepting it. But that's when it goes to the extreme levels. I don't like the hustler culture there. But it's necessary to have, especially in today's society, right? Now, going back to the question of work and life balance, everybody has their own definition of that. For me, it's not. For me, I have work-life balance, even though I work a lot, because I love what I do, right? I love what I do, and I always find time though for my family too. I'm very close to my mom. I'm very close to my family. I'm very close to people that I love. So I always find a little bit of time in my day to call them, to be around them, just because it's necessary. And then you go back to the question of I burned out twice, So in that moment I understood how important it is to not stress. And I know it's very cliche. I know everybody tells you to not stress, but honestly, having faith, and that's why faith helps a lot. Believing in God helps
How
a lot.
important is God for you?
It's the first thing. It starts there. Faith taught me, and I was not always religious. I had times of a lot of being agnostic and being atheist, actually. But God taught me very nicely and in a very interesting way that if you have faith in Him, you'll have faith in yourself too. Because what is believing in God? Is believing in something that you don't see. The same way I believe in a Luca that I don't see in the next 5 to 10 years. Unconditionally. That's the coin. Unconditionally. Doesn't matter what happens. I still believe in God. I still believe in myself. I watched a movie lately, The Conclave, which won Oscar, and it's about the Pope, how the Pope gets elected, right? And the decan, when it speaks about in front of all the cardinals that came from the world to vote for the new Pope, he has an unbelievable speech, and on the words that he says is that the biggest sin that I ever think I committed, it's certainty. Be certain. Certainty is the enemy of unity and of diversity. Even Jesus, he says, in the 9th hour in the cross, said, oh Dio mio, perché mi hai abbandonato? Which in Italian means, oh my God, why did you leave me alone? Why did you abandon me? Even Jesus was not certain in the end. Certainty, it's the only thing that you have to be certain on is in the delusional, optimistic view of yourself and in God. There's only things that are certain. Other things are never certain. So nothing is absolute.
I love it. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That might be a great way to end it. Yeah. Also, you want to do some closing remarks?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, Luca, thank you so much for sharing all of the insights. I think it's very valuable for the viewers. A lot of them are, starting out, a lot of them are lost in their way as well. I think a lot of people need to do a lot of soul searching and inner work, because the content we consume is all like, hustle, grind, do this, don't think about it, just put in the hours, right? But you have to know what you're putting the hours towards. Is it fulfilling for you? Otherwise, it's just a job. You've given yourself a job, essentially. If you dread waking up and getting on the laptop and cold calling, then you're an employee of yourself, right? But if you're doing something that's fulfilling for you, like when I built what I built, I was doing 16-hour days, but I loved every second of it. It was just so exciting. And I think everyone should spend some time finding what that is for you. And of course, Luca's done it. I've done it for myself. And when you do find that, Matt, of course, as well. But when you do find that, it's going to change your life. You're going to be so happy to wake up and work towards a mission. So if that's the one thing that you can take away from this, I think just do a lot of inner work, listen to your soul, find yourself, and everything else will fall in place. I truly believe that. And if you do want to get started with, learning the space that we're in, you can consume a lot of our other content as well. In the description, there'll be some links to join some of the programs we have too, to find out if this is the right thing for you. And it might not be the same thing for everyone, right? Absolutely. Like I do have these programs, but that might not be what is for you. But the only way you can find out is by trying it, doing inner work, and then seeing what the market tells you, essentially. So thank you so much for being a part of this, Luca. We appreciate it, and we'd love to have you back sometime.
Thank you, boys. And yeah, I'll be definitely back in this amazing podcast that you guys have created.
Amazing, man. Yeah, we appreciate you. One last piece of advice to tell the viewers anyone who's interested in starting a business, or maybe the best piece of advice you've ever received. Go ahead and share that with everyone.
Don't do it, but if you do it, go all the way.
I love that. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you.
You started with that as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way.
Right.